Hey guys, welcome back to our final installment on this Marvel Mightiest series. So we've covered a lot. We know how to draw these figures. We can rotate them in space and so on and so forth. We've also touched on some basic lighting and things like that. So the last thing I want to do for this video is just do that final scene, take everything that we've learned, think of a concept, we're going to do two of them, think of a concept that we can use and then try and make a more polished, finished version from all the knowledge that we've gained. So as I said, I want to do two concepts. I thought it'd be fun actually to do the painting that we discussed in the first video as one concept. So we're just going to do two quick concepts. These aren't final ones, here just like pen sketches to see what works best and how we work it out. So I thought this would be cool to do for the first one. And then maybe the second one we'll do like a cinematic poster or something like that. And then we'll choose one of the two and do a more refined picture. So there are some things in this picture that we haven't discussed that's going to cause problems for us, and that's going to be this neck. So this neck is very important for the kind of elongation of the figure and the direction and everything else. These characters don't really have a neck, so I've actually tried to find one that might have a neck. Let me just turn this brightness up. Cool. So I tried to find one that does have a neck, but they don't. The best we can see of an underplane of these characters is this model here. And the more you look at it, the more it actually looks like his head is about to fall off. So I reckon the design department probably ran into some issues with how to pose these figures, because if you left this neck where it would normally be, so travel the center line up, it'd be around here. Obviously the head's so big that when you lift these arms up, it is going to clip into that arm. So what they've had to do is probably take that head and then just like move it away. So the center point is here, so you'd expect the neck to be there. Obviously it doesn't work. But again, these figures aren't really meant to be anatomically correct, so that's absolutely fine. They can do that. It's artistic license, as they call it. So we're going to have to do something similar for this underplane. I might reference how they've done it with like how they're going to reference the actual neck, but we'll see what happens anyway. It might work out, but this is just a concept, so let's try and do it, and then we'll reference that in a minute when we get to this neck. So first thing we want to do is just define the graphic footprint. Where do we want these figures to start and stop? Let's start with the center female figure first. I want her figure or his figure to start around here, and I want it to end here. Okay, I'm not going to do the measurements yet because this is also going to take in this hand into account. So I'm going to roughly guess that we're going to start our figure around here, and then we'll measure it properly in a second. So we know it's going to be coming this way. Okay, we know that the leg is going up, and then it comes this way. And again, you can just put in arrows, you don't have to. I think arrows help to illustrate on the video what I'm thinking. Usually, I sometimes draw arrows, but I don't actually always draw arrows. So again, I'm not measuring the actual proportions of our figure. I'm kind of loosely basing it on this at the moment. So I know this hand comes up here, away from us. I know that this one comes down this way and then leans kind of on that knee just there. Okay, so now I know the rough gesture, I know the graphic footprint. So now let's start putting in our measurements for our figure. So where do I want the head to start and end? So it's more or less in line with this, but it is down a little bit. So we're just going to take that and go down a little bit, and it's going to be around there. It doesn't have to be super accurate. Okay, we know that our figure is 2 heads high, so we can find a point, the center point between this, and that's going to be around here. And then the center of these two is around here, and that gives us our torso shape. So actually, I want to move it up a little bit because I want the center to be in the center of the actual paper. So let's take that, twist it this way. So all I've done is like moved it from this anchor point almost. So just like that. Okay, so now let's draw our torso in. So we have the big jelly bean shape ball at the bottom, and then we have a smaller one that stacks on top. And it's important to note that this form is in front of this one. So you can see we have, again, this kind of compression happening here with these lines that wrap around. That indicates that this ball, this form, is in front of this one. So there is an overlap, which is why I've overlapped it here. And we have a stretch on this side. And then of course we have the compression on this side. And again, these characters don't seem to have these creases. I'm going to add them in though, because I think they should be there. I think it would add a lot of dynamics to the poses. So hopefully we're taking a character design and slightly improving it by making our poses a little bit more dynamic. Cool, so that goes like that. As I say, the head's going to be the difficult part. So let's draw a ball for the head. Okay, and then we need to actually twist it. So let's kind of reference how they've tackled this. Okay, it's going to be a difficult one. So let's find our center line first actually. So the center line of the torso is like this. It does twist a little bit like that, and then it needs to follow along and go upwards around the head like that, and then the eyebrow line would be around here. Okay, so the chin is probably going to be about here, which leaves a lot of neck. So it is more or less the same as how I've got this image just here. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay. So we have this kind of underplane. It's not like a straight ball, it is kind of cut off here. So let's just draw a circle here for that underplane. We'll just shade that in for now. Okay. If we travel up from that chin to the nose, this is where we'd have that ball shape of the head. Really, really rough. As I say, we're going to get into trouble doing this pose, I think. Actually, the chin's probably going to be here actually. So let's change this up a little bit. So along that plane to the chin, to the nose, and then we have the ball shape. Okay. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so now we need to define the jawline. So the jawline actually wraps around this plane here, this little circle that we defined, and then it would go up to halfway on this plane here. Okay, we're just gonna do a wave for now. We're gonna use actually this cross contour here to help us describe. So let's start adding that in. Okay, and then we know this is our nose line, so let's wrap around and find where the ear is gonna end just here, and it's going to go up, not quite to the top of the brow line, but it's around here, so it's like halfway into the eyes if we remember. So ear comes up, stops around there. We can wrap that around now. We know that's like the halfway for our eyes. Yeah, I think we're going to run into a lot of trouble with this pose. It's really, really going to be a difficult one. Okay, let's wrap around. Okay, we have the brow line here into the cheek. And then let's just go down like this. Okay. Something like that. Okay, so now let's draw the nose in. Just do a circle for that with an undershadow. He actually does have a little bit coming out for the side, so we'll add that in as well. I'm going to draw down, like almost again, imagine an ant coming down and just going over. Okay, and now let's draw this chin strap in, because that gives us again a nice description of this form. So it actually comes down like here. Again, super difficult pose actually. Probably shouldn't have chose this. So as I say, we probably won't do this for our final one. We'll go for something maybe a little bit easier, but we might run into this problem again anyway with our poses. So it's good to just figure it out. Okay. Okay, and we come around here. I'm just describing this mask now very loosely. So it comes down from the ear, goes around, up over the nose, down the other side, and then wraps around like that. Okay, it comes up and down. Hoping you can see this as well. It's quite difficult to see this pen on this paper, so I apologize for that. Let's draw this A shape. So it's going to start, let's draw a line for it. It's going to start around here. Okay, we'll do the A just here. Okay, put in the other eye. Comes up to the brow line. Okay, and then we have this side plane just here. Okay, so that's more or less it for that head. I think we've gone into maybe a bit too much detail. So I'm going to move this ear back because it doesn't look right. Okay. So I think without a neck, it does look a little bit odd. So we can either choose to add in a neck and go like this, or we can remove it. I think without a neck, it's going to run into so many problems. At least like some indication of a neck like this would make it so much more dynamic, but it doesn't fit with the character design. So it's something you can add in, go to your art director, see if they're happy with it or not. I've also realized I've actually started drawing this like Captain America before we even decided if it was going to be Captain America. So I guess it is now. Okay, so let's draw the rest of the body in, or the rest of the legs. So leg's going to come out of this shape just here. We know it's going to be the length of this whole torso. So your half leg would be the first joint, which is going to be like here. And then we have the other half of the leg coming down here, this way. So not following the arrows completely. So let's go ahead and block that in. Remember to walk over, come back. Okay, it's actually a simple cylinder shape. I'm just naturally going towards drawing a proper figure here. Okay. Simple figure shape, cylinder shape here. And then it comes back this way, or this way. We'll do it here. Okay, and it gets thicker towards the end. We know that. Okay, and then we just connect it up. Cool. And then the other leg is coming out this way. And then it goes down towards us. Okay. Let's do this arm. We are going to run into some clipping here. So we need to decide, is the arm going to be in front of the face or behind it? I'd say typically you'd put it behind because you don't want to obscure the face. So we'll go ahead and do that. So cylinder shape coming up, going behind the head. So we draw through it very lightly. Okay, so it's going to be the same height as the body. So if it comes out here, it would actually come out here. So we're going to have to twist the angle a little bit to go this way, because if we did it this way, you're not really going to see much. So to here. So let's change this position of the arm. Okay, it's going to go this way, and then it gets thicker. Okay, just like that. And then we can do the hand. It's just like a little block. You can draw the arrows for the thumb, going this way. The other fingers are kind of going this way. I'm going to make it so they're a little bit more visible. Okay, there's a kind of a kink to the little finger, so I want to add that in as well. Okay. And then we can just block that in. Kind of like that. Yeah, this video is going to be long, isn't it? What are we on now? We got 16 minutes. Okay. So let's go ahead. This is going to be a long video. Okay, so this arm is going this way. We're going up this way. And then we have the hand. We can do the arrows again. Typically what you'll find as well is in both animation and Renaissance, they tend to group the middle fingers together like this. Now this character only has 3 fingers, so it works quite well. So let's go ahead and do that, what we're doing. Okay, so here's the hand just here. We're gonna go forwards. The first finger, middle finger, is always straight to this wedge shape here. Okay. Again, I'll do a whole nother video on hands at some point. This finger is going this way, has a slight kink to it. Probably keep that in. And then the third finger is quite spread out, going this way, and then we have the thumb. Okay, let's fill this in. Cool, something like that. Find the side plane, so we know it turns around here. So again, if you draw across it, it turns here, which means this is the turning plane, just here. So if we want to light the figure, we can put that in darkness and imagine the light is coming this way. Okay. That we'll just throw in some tone quickly. This will just help us see what we're doing. Cool, something like that. And then we're going to have a lot of cast shadows with this kind of lighting if we were to light it realistically. Typically in cartoons you wouldn't obviously light it realistically anyway. So you'd have a core shadow here, reflected light. And it's again just light in simple cylinder shapes, so it's not too complicated. Okay, core shadow would go here. Up just plain, and then this is all reflected light. This would have a very heavy shadow for this arm going back, and this neck obviously is in shadow, and this underplane is also in shadow. Cool shadow comes up here. Cool shadow, reflected light. Cool, so let's just quickly add in the mouth here. Yeah, okay, let's draw these other figures quickly because this is taking way too long. Right, so we know we've got a hand coming this way, and this hand actually is going to define the length of our figure. So we don't always have to start with the head. So we know that the hand is also, or sorry, the whole arm is the length of the torso. So if we draw the arm this big, we know that this torso is probably going to be about this big as well. Okay, so I'm just going to add in straight away the torso very lightly. Okay, we know that the torso is half a head height, so let's stick the torso there. The head's actually going to come all the way up here. It's a really big head. Okay. Okay, and then we have the legs, which we can't see in the picture, but we know they come down somewhere. Okay, and then the arm, it's very heavily stretched. So we're going to bring the arm down like this. And then we'll add the hand just here. Okay, and then the other one is coming down this way and going behind, say this way. So if I do it here, it's going to be holding her head, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think we should bring the arms down this way a little bit more, which means we may need to move the torso. Okay. And then the arm would be, the hand would be somewhere here. We can't see it. We can see it because we have X-ray vision, but the actual viewer normally wouldn't see that. So let's move this ball down this way a little bit. So it's now, this one is on top of the one that would be below. Again, we can't see it in this painting, but we know it's there because we have X-ray vision now. Okay, and then head can stay where it is. Again, we've got this neck problem. But I'm happy more or less with where that is. So he is looking more or less straight down. Okay. We travel up to there to find the actual ball shape. Okay. And then back up here. This would be where the ear is. Come around. Mouth, chin. Okay. And then they don't have a neck, so I'm actually going to extend this base of the skull to the bottom. Or we could add a neck, it's up to you. Okay, side plane, just here. Cheekbone would be here. Underplane, very important, would be here. Cool, eyes, somewhere around there. Cool, next figure. Let's draw him next. It's going to be, we have to reposition him a little bit. He's going to be behind the head, and maybe in front of the arm. Okay, so that's one head height. It's going to come down to here. How are we doing for time? Not doing too bad. Yeah, 25 minutes, I think that says. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be a really long video. I apologize. Okay, so we have this. Let's wrap around this way, the direction that he's facing. Let's do the torso. It's going to be like here. Okay, find the center line. Arm is coming down. And then down again, thicker at the ends. Travel up to the other side. And he is actually holding her, but obviously we have such big heads, we'd have to move everything closer. Things are going to start overlapping. We already have an overlap here, clipping off some of his head. So I don't want to move it. I'm just not going to draw this arm. And I think that'll work fine. So chin is going to be here. So let's go up from the chin to the nose. Let's connect this jawline up to this ball. Like so. Let's find the ear, which actually doesn't come up to the brow line. In these character designs, it comes up here, so it's there. Okay, let's walk across. Find that side plane. It's going to be roughly around there. Mouth would be here. We'll put in a nose. Okay, center line of the torso is going this way. And he's actually really leant over quite far, so we could do some foreshortening here. We could actually have this top ball in front of this bottom one. So let's move this over a little bit. Okay, so we'd have that. That makes sense, that's fine. Let's add some light in so you can see. Okay, the nose just here. All this would be in light. There is going to be some cast shadows coming down as well. Let's add some light into this figure as well. So all of this essentially in light. This side plane of the nose would be in light. This ball and shoulders. Okay, there's going to be some cast shadows here, but we're going to have a little bit of light there. This actually you won't see because there's a horse in the way. Cool, let's just quickly add in the core shadows. Reflected light. Okay, so there's a cast shadow and a core shadow. Okay, cast shadow down this way. But then it's also in dark anyway. Okay. Cool. Okay. So this concept is going on obviously way too long. We'll do a little bit more and then we're just going to move on to the next one. Okay, so let's not do too much on the character development here. So we're not going to draw the arm. Let's draw this figure now. So I don't want our head to kind of lose the head we have here. So I'm going to do her around here. Okay. Okay, and she's going to come down to around here. So that's cool. Okay, halfway up, torso. This top one again is going to be coming towards us, but the head is so far back as well that if you had three spheres stacked on top of each other, it's like the bottom one is here, then you have the middle one, and then you have the head. So the head is actually the closest, followed by this one, and then followed by this one. Okay, so that's how I'm imagining that. So this one is on top. Okay, and then the bottom one, obviously not that big, it's half head height. There we go. There is some foreshortening as well. And again, we can twist this or not and add in the creases, it's up to you. Okay, and then the leg is coming down this way, going away from us. And then it comes back towards us. So let's do a big circle here for the end of the leg, going into this cylinder. Okay, and then back up. Cool, and then just connect up the knee. Let me have that figure just there. The other leg is a really weird position. It's coming forwards. So we'll just indicate it here. We're not going to draw the whole thing, but it would come down here. Oh yeah, we could add it in, that's fine. Cool. The arm is coming around, but we can't see it unless we drop the head some more. So we may have to drop this head even further down to like here. Okay. And then we can do the arm going this way. And then reaching out. We have to add in some foreshortening because I don't want the hand, which is quite big for these characters, to go into this face. So it flares out at the end, but we're going to shorten it. Okay, and then we'll just do a quick box for the hands. Okay, face is coming. So again, we're going to have to draw 3 here. This is a really challenging one to do. So if we drew 3, we'd have the neck around here. It would come up. Well, this would be the chin because I don't have necks. It would come up here, and then this would be our ball. Okay, but again, we're drawing through it. So it doesn't mean that we start at the bottom of this line. So it is still going to be here. We're going to have to draw through where we think it's going to be. Now we do want to actually see her face, so we're going to have to also twist it in our mind to be here. So the chin's here, it comes up. Okay, we'll draw the ball again. Find the center of the ball for the side plane, which would be here. Wrap around, and this would be the ear. Walk forwards for the center of the eye, which means the brow line is around here. So we'd add in the eyes maybe here. Okay. And then we'd connect the jawline up. But it doesn't really have a jawline, it is just a ball. It has a flat underarm almost. Cool. So it'll be something like that. Okay, those are the main characters. Then we could just add in some horses, which is not really a big deal. Let's just add those in very quickly and rough. So what I might do is, I was going to do a different concept, but I might just take this concept and do a finished rendering sped up on the computer, so that this video is not massively long. But you can see how I can take this information that I've put down here and just kind of ran with it to create something half decent. I will still change things as it gets onto the computer and on the final rendering. Like, this is by no means the final version, but you'll be able to see what I do. So, okay, hopefully, again, you've learned something from this lesson. It's been quite a challenging one to actually do this, but now we have, the Marvel Mighties in a Renaissance picture, which is kind of cool. Not something I thought I'd be doing. Probably wouldn't see this much of the booty. So we'll hide that a little bit. And all this obviously is going to be in shadow. But cool, yeah. Just add in some white quickly before we go, just to highlight this figure. So really simple actual lighting direction. It's just one light. It's kind of like a Rembrandt light. But yeah, this is essentially our concept. As I say, loads of cast shadows from this. So if the light was up here, this whole figure is going to cast a shadow around this form. So it depends how much of this figure we want to see. Again, we can be creative and very picky with how we decide to light it. So I'll probably do like a rim light here a little bit, just to define the edge, with the cast shadow coming around like that, and then maybe like another rim light just here, so you can see where it starts, and then obviously all this would be in shadow. Okay, and then obviously this half is going to be slightly more lighted than this half of the head, but this half of the head is still going to be, for the most part, in shadow. Cool. Yeah, hopefully you can see how that works. Hopefully you've learned something. I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.